Jen, you want to try your... I got you a separate bowl this time. He wants the big one.
Looking at the your bowl.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Today we're going to make some egg drop soup. So super simple recipe. I don't know, you know, my familiarity with egg drop soup starts when I was a kid, and it used to be part of like a, you know, I grew up in New York, and there's a bunch of Cantonese and Chinese American restaurants around there, and when you get the lunch special, you can go and get your kung pao chicken, a little scoop of rice, and then a bowl of egg drop soup. And usually the egg drop soup there had been sitting in a steam table all day, and it's going to be real thick and kind of congealed and also kind of bright yellow because they color it with food coloring. That said, I really like all versions of the soup. So in China, you're going to find a much thinner version of it than you would typically find in the US. But I like most versions of the soup, to be honest. The key to good egg drop soup, you want to start with good broth. You can make homemade chicken broth. So in my book, The Walk, I have a recipe for a real simple home-style chicken broth that's made with just flavored with chicken, scallions, and ginger. You can also add a ham bone in there, something to give it a little bit more of a deeper flavor. The way I'm making it today, I'm actually starting with store-bought chicken broth. So I have 1.5 quarts of store-bought chicken broth in here, and I've been simmering it for about 15 minutes with a couple slices of ginger, a couple of scallions that I've chopped up, and then the stems from some cilantro. And that's going to give you a really nice sort of subtle, fresh ginger and scallion flavor. Okay, so I'm going to fish that stuff out now. Leave it off to the side. You can simmer it for longer than 15 minutes if you'd like. There's no harm in that. And then the other key to egg drop soup is we're going to thicken up the broth. And that's going to help the eggs stay suspended in there. So I've got about a tablespoon plus 2 teaspoons of cornstarch here, to which I'm going to add just enough water to dissolve it. Mix it up with chopsticks. You always want to do, if you try and add cornstarch directly to a hot liquid without dissolving it first, what happens is you end up like with a ball of cornstarch where the outside of it has sort of gelatinized, the starch has hydrated and gelatinized, which ends up trapping the dry cornstarch on the inside. So you always want to make sure that you dissolve your cornstarch in cold water before you add it to your hot liquid. You can do this with potato starch as well. That works just fine. And then we're just going to bring this to a simmer again. And once it simmers, it should thicken up nicely. Meanwhile, we're going to season it. Salt. And pepper. With store-bought stock, you want to be really careful because sometimes it's already very salty. That's white pepper, by the way. The difference between white pepper and black pepper, by the way, there's a couple of key differences. One of them is that black pepper has the husk still attached, so that's what makes it black, the little husk of the berry, whereas white pepper, the husk has been removed. The other main difference, though, is that white pepper is typically fermented, so that's why white pepper has a sort of skunkier, more fermenty smell to it. And so even though it should be milder because it doesn't have that husk attached, it typically has a stronger aroma because of that fermentation. All right, while that comes up to a simmer, I'm going to get my eggs. So another teaspoon cornstarch here, just enough water to dissolve it. And I'm going to add 4 eggs to there. I'm going to break my eggs on the side of the bowl as opposed to a flat surface. I used to do it on a flat surface, and then I made this video where I tested breaking eggs on a flat surface versus on the side of the bowl and found it's actually much easier to do it on the side of a bowl. So I've changed the way I do my eggs now. I'll link to that video somewhere. All right, and another little bit of seasoning, just a bit of salt. So the cornstarch here, that's going to make sure that the eggs don't get too tight as we drizzle them into the soup. And it's also going to help them stay suspended in the soup. I want to beat it really nice and smooth here. Depending on how thick you like the soup, obviously you can add more or less cornstarch slurry to the base and get it really nice and thick if you like it that way. I'm going to just taste it for seasoning. Good. All right. You down to a real bare simmer again. All right, so at this stage, when we're going to add our eggs, the speed at which you add your eggs sort of determines how the size of the curds you're going to form. So I'm going to drizzle them pretty slowly, and what I like to do is wave my chopsticks back and forth over the top to get really nice thin strands. And then once they get in there, I'm going to let it sit for just a moment so that they set before I start stirring it. You can do this with a fork as well, of course. All right. So I'm going to let them just set just for a moment so that they don't completely break up when I stir it. I'm going to give it a few lazy stirs. There we go. That is about it. All that's left is some garnish. For garnish, I'm going to go with, let's see, do some scallions. We'll do some cilantro. Sometimes I like to add, you know, my kids like frozen peas, so sometimes I like to throw some frozen peas in there. Sometimes I'll add some cubed up soft tofu. I really like the combination of like a really silken soft tofu, cubes of it, with these kind of really tender eggs. I like the sort of soft on soft texture that you get there. Sometimes we'll do frozen shrimp that will just cook directly in there. You can also, if you've got like bits of rotisserie chicken, you can put that in there, cubes of ham. It's a real versatile thing. Slices of mushroom go well in there. But today I'll just keep it super simple. I'm serving it in my my kids' bowl because I'm almost always serving this for kids. Finish this off here. All right, so that is egg drop soup. Real simple. So we started with store-bought chicken broth that we flavored with some ginger scallions and cilantro stems, and then to that we added a bit of cornstarch to thicken it up, and then we had some eggs that we beat and we drizzled them slowly in. Jen, you want to try your? I got you a separate bowl this time. Yes, good. All right, official taste tester Chen thinks it's okay. Maybe he thinks it's hot. I think it's great. Salt and white pepper. Those are the key seasonings. The white pepper especially is, I think, really a key flavor here. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals, I will see you next time. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. You can find the full article and recipe along with bonus content and my newsletter for free on my Patreon. Don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos like this, or my alternate channel, Kenji Lopez Main, for my dining content. And follow me on Instagram at Kenji Lopez-Alt for daily updates. You can also get signed and personalized copies of any of my books. That's The Food Lab, The Walk, or my children's book, Every Night is Pizza Night, shipped from Book Larder here in Seattle. Find the links to all of this, as well as all of the tools I used in today's video, in the description below. Thanks.